everyone, it's Hailey, and today I'm going to be sharing with you the books that I'm hoping to read in April. So I'm super excited that today's video is sponsored by PBS in honor of the 3-part 6-hour documentary series that is coming out on Hemingway, and this will be releasing April 5th to the 7th. Something you might not know about me is that I actually really love watching documentaries. I love learning things, and I especially love learning about figures that you don't really know that much about. This series is directed by the award-winning filmmakers Lynn Novick and Ken Burns, and I'm sure you have seen their work before. I know that I have. I know that I've definitely seen some of their documentaries in my history classes in school, and I have loved them. So Ernest Hemingway is the iconic American author, and this series is going to be taking a look at him and his works and him as a writer, but also him as a figure and as a person, and reveal the tragic life that he has had and who that made him out to be. As a writer, I definitely am inspired by Hemingway. He is super influential, and you see his influences even today on literature. But he also was so dedicated to his craft, and that is something that I think is so important. He had such a love and a passion for it and made sure to practice as much as he possibly could. This documentary will not only be taking a look at his life, but it will also be taking a look at some of his novels, such as The Sun Also Rises, From Who the Bell Tolls, and also some of his short stories and nonfiction works. I know that personally we were assigned to read A Movable Feast by Hemingway when I went to France, and we went in our travels around France with that book in mind, because I actually went for a creative writing course, and it was really cool and made me feel a personal connection with him as a writer. This documentary is going to explore everything Hemingway, from his life to his art and to his rise and fall and his limitations and biases as an artist as well, and I'm really looking forward to watching the whole series. I have watched the first episode and I feel like I learned like so much that I didn't know. So if you guys were interested in checking this out, it will be available on the free PBS video app, which is available on iOS, Android, Roku streaming devices, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, Samsung Smart TV, and Chromecast. And just a reminder, that will be coming out April 5th to the 7th, and it will be airing at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've read a few of Hemingway's works in the past, and this series has definitely inspired me to want to read the rest of them because I find him very interesting. And thank you very much to PBS for working with me today. So now getting into the books that I am hoping to read this April. I feel like my TBRs just keep on getting like more random, and this one feels the most random because lately my mood has just been all over the place. I haven't really known where I want to go with my reads, like what genre I want to read, so I just have a bunch of random books here, and I am interested in them right now, but as the month goes on, we'll see if that remains to be the truth. But I feel like in the springtime, I like the emotional contemporary, so I have some of those on here. I've got like, I don't even know, I have a couple fantasies and stuff, just some fun, cute reads. Like, it is just all over the place. So the first book that I have here is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. So this is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet, and it is set in 1920s Shanghai, and I picked this up in, I think it was November that I got it, and I have wanted to read it ever since, but for some reason I haven't really gravitated towards it, and I don't know why, but like the concept sounds amazing, like following rival gangs in 1920s Shanghai. Like, I just want to know more immediately. That just hooks me. I will say some people have said that they don't think I will like this because it's slow, but like there are some slow reads that I can get past the fact that it's slow, so we'll see how I feel about it. It has gotten a lot of hype and a lot of buzz, and I'm hoping I will actually like it. Next up, I have Paris Is Always a Good Idea by Jenn McKinlay. So I have had this for like a year now. I pre-ordered it and then kind of forgot about it, but then I was looking to see what I wanted to read, and I remembered that I had this book and how absolutely adorable it sounds. I honestly don't even know if I ever hauled this one. I don't think I did. But this follows a 30-year-old woman who retraces her gap year through Ireland, France, and Italy to find love and herself in this hilarious and heartfelt novel. So she goes, it kind of reminds me of Mamma Mia a little bit, like just a little bit, because she's going to these different places to like see the guys that she met while she was there. And I'm all about travel reads right now, so this sounds like something that would definitely transport me and be really enjoyable and cute and fun, and I'm definitely down for that. Speaking of adult romances, I also have here Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. So this is the final book in the Brown Sisters trilogy, and I'm sad that it's the final book because I liked Chloe Brown. I didn't love it, but I did really love the last one, Danny Brown. Like, I fell in love with Danny and her romance and her story. It was so cute. So then I understood what all the hype was about, and I'm so excited to get the story of the last Brown sister. In this, we follow Eve Brown, who is the flightiest Brown sister, and she ends up crashing into an uptight B&B owner, and that is where the romance ensues. It sounds so cute, and I loved her writing. It was fun and witty, and I'm just eager to read more of her characters, get lost in another of her stories, and that definitely sounds like the perfect thing to get me through April. Next is a book that I feel like I have included on literally like the past like 5 TBRs, but I just haven't picked it up yet, and that is Chasing Lucky by Jenn Bennett. I keep on saying I'm going to pick this up, and then I just, like, it's similar to These Violent Delights. I just never really gravitated toward it for some reason, but I don't know why, because like I enjoy Jenn Bennett. I've read a bunch of her books now, and this is the latest contemporary of hers that I need to get caught up on, and it sounds like a really good concept. Like, it's set in a small New England town where the main character has always been nomadic. Like, her and her mother just move wherever, and then they move to their old town, and she knows that, like, she's like, this is just going to be a pit stop, but they end up staying a little bit longer than she was expecting. And she also is a budding, aspiring photographer, and she is starting to fall for the town bad boy. Like, everything about that sounds like a recipe for something that I would love, but I don't know why. Like, I think it's because sometimes her books do take me a little bit to get through, which is why I haven't picked this one up yet, but like soon I will pick it up. I feel it. April is going to be the month that I read this book, finally. Next up is A Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Bouley. So this just came out, and it has such a gorgeous cover. I didn't know that it's actually a thriller story though. This follows Donis, who never really feels like she has quite fit in anywhere, not in her hometown and not on the nearby Ojibwe reservation either. She has been dreaming of a future going to college, but then tragedy strikes and she ends up having to give that up to care for her mother. She starts falling for the new guy on her brother's hockey team, and as they start falling for each other, she thinks he's hiding something, and then everything comes to light when she actually ends up witnessing a murder and being involved with the FBI for investigating this new lethal drug. So obviously that is a very layered story that we have here. We have a character who is going undercover to investigate this, and she is drawing on her knowledge of chemistry as well as traditional Ojibwe medicine to learn more about this new drug. Like, I don't really know, but I'm definitely intrigued by that. I think there are a million ways it could go, and I have no clue where it will end up. Next up is The Looking Glass by Janet McNally. So this is a book about ballet, and it's actually not the only book about ballet that I have on this TBR for this month, but this one is about sisters who they had like this fairy tale book that they loved as kids, and the one sister, she ends up going missing, and the other sister is trying to like live up to her legacy because she was a fantastic ballerina, and she discovers that her missing sister has left her a copy of the storybook that they loved with a list in it. So this seems like a mix of sisterhood and fairy tales, and maybe like a hint of magic in here, as well as ballet. Like, I don't really know what to make of this one either, to be honest, but it sounds really interesting. Like, it could be very, very good. And unlike other things that I've read before, I've read a few ballet books, but this definitely seems like the most unique. Speaking of, I'll talk about the other ballet book here. So that is I Want to Be Where You Are by Kristina Forrest. I read Kristina Forrest's latest release this past month, and actually no, last month. Was it last month? Or was it? I don't know. I read it recently and I really liked it. So I have wanted to read her debut for a while now, and it seems like it's going to be so cute. So once again, we have a main character who is an aspiring ballerina, and she wants to go to this audition, but her parents say that she can't. So she just decides that she's going to go anyways and take this road trip, but then her neighbor ends up catching her when she is going to leave and blackmails her into taking him with her. And also there's a dog. So everything about that sounds sounds really great. I included this on my spring TBR because I think it just sounds adorable. Like, this cover just screams spring to me too. It is the cutest, so I think this will be a really quick, nice read to read outside when the weather is nice. Next up is A Taste for Love by Jennifer Yen. I picked this up recently. Actually, it was sent to me by the publisher recently, and I have just been dreaming of reading it ever since. This, and it's, what is it? This one. I forgot about this one, but both of these books here, A Fall Love Story by Lone Lee, and these, they deal with both cooking. I don't know why I said that sentence like that, but they both deal with cooking and romance, and it just sounds adorable. This one has rival Vietnamese restaurants, and the like children of the owners of each are falling in love, so cute. And then this one, we have a mother who sets up this whole baking competition to try and get her daughter to find an Asian American man that she approves of. It sounds adorable. Like, I can't wait. I think it's gonna be funny. Both of these just sound incredible. Next up is Lost in the Neverwoods by Aiden Thomas. Aiden Thomas is the author of Cemetery Boys, which I super loved, and this is their latest release, and I love this cover. It seems like it's Peter Pan inspired, but I also haven't really seen it explicitly said anywhere that it is Peter Pan inspired, but it definitely seems to me like it is, so I'm just gonna go with that. There's like no way this isn't Peter Pan inspired, okay? Like, I don't know why, it just doesn't really say anywhere, but I think this is a Peter Pan retelling. So we have Wendy, and she and her two brothers, they vanished off the coast of a small coastal town in Oregon, and Wendy returned, but her brothers didn't. And now the town's children are starting to go missing again. So she is like being asked questions about things, obviously, and Peter appears and he asks for help with finding the missing kids. So obviously we have like missing kids, we have Peter, we have Wendy. Doesn't it seem like that? Like the two brothers? I don't think I'm reading too much here, but anyways, Cemetery Boys was so well written, and I like fell in love with the characters, so I'm really excited to read more from this author. Next up is Fable by Adrienne Young. So I have read A Sky in the Deep by this author, and I didn't love it, but this one intrigues me. It's a nautical fantasy, which I was not expecting. Basically, you follow this girl who wanted to follow in her father's footsteps, but she wasn't allowed to because she is a woman, and she ends up on this island and is just trying to survive in a world that was built for men, especially since her father actually abandoned her on this island, which is like filled with thieves and everything. It definitely seems like an interesting setup. Next is Early Departures by Justin A. Reynolds. So I read Opposite of Always by this author last year, and I really liked it. Like, he has such a distinct voice, and I have just been wanting to read more of his books ever since. Like, his characters are awesome. So he writes contemporaries with a little bit of a twist, and in this one, you follow a main character whose best friend dies, and then there's like this technology. Basically, he has regrets because he blamed an accident on his best friend who has now died, and there's this new technology that has come out that allows reanimation, so he decides to use that to try and apologize and make good with his friend again. But like, obviously that's gonna get really complicated, so super intrigued by that concept. Definitely very interesting and unique, and seems like it could be very cool, definitely emotional as well. Next up is Sherwood by Meagan Spooner. So this is a Robin Hood retelling, and I have had this for so long, like literally forever, and I don't know why I haven't read it yet, because Hunted, which is her Beauty and the Beast retelling, I really liked, so I don't know why I've been procrastinating on this one. But the story of Robin Hood is one that I'm sure you all know very well. Taking from the rich, giving to the poor, that whole thing. It's very iconic, and I'm interested to see what Meagan Spooner's twist on that story is going to be. I believe it's gender bent as well, so that's really cool. And finally is Traitor Angels by Anne Blankman. So Anne Blankman is the author of Prisoner of Night and Fog, and she also wrote The Blackbird Girls, which I read last month and I liked, but it made me want to read the other book that I had by her, because The Blackbird Girls, that one is a middle grade, which I didn't know. This is a YA, and I have had this one for a really long time. So it is about the daughter of John Milton, and I don't know why I haven't wanted to pick this one up, but I think because it's like a figure I don't really know that much about, but like I'm intrigued by, but it's also just a time period I don't know a lot about. I haven't really known what to make of it, but it does seem like like it could be really cool. Okay, so those are all the books that I'm hoping to read in April. Hopefully April will be a successful reading month. March was pretty good. I definitely didn't read as much as I did in February, but I did still manage to read, like, surpass my goal of reading 10 books, so I'm happy with that. In April, I never actually calculated how many books I need to read. I have to read like 2 books a week, so in April I need to read 8, which I should be able to do easily, hopefully. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much to PBS for sponsoring it. Don't forget to check out the Hemingway documentary, which will be coming out April 5th to the 7th. It is a 3-part 6-hour documentary series, and it seems really cool, so I hope you guys will check it out as well. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I will see you in another one soon. Bye!